This is the Strange Brigade. So this is basically the same game that was made by the series, Zombie Army 4 Dead War as well. I believe this came out before Zombie Army 4, could have been before Zombie Army 3, don't know, but I'm sure it was before Zombie Army 4. I only came across this game because Zombie Army 4 had skins for their Halloween month. And part of their skins and masks that they wore were from Strange Brigade. So I was wondering what was Strange Brigade, if it's another game from a different company. But then I found out Rebellion made Strange Brigade, just like Rebellion made Sniper Elite or Evil Genius 2. You know, those games that are very fun and people like that aren't really considered AAA, but are very AAA in the value of fun and cooperation with other people. Now, I know nothing about this game. I think I might have played a demo at a certain point a long time ago at a friend's house, so I have a concept of what it's about or the functions. But as the overall game, first time playing, I would have to say it's actually my first time playing the game because it's been such a long time since I've actually came across this game. I almost forgot that it even existed. Really a pretty decent game. It's highly underrated, to be honest with you, from what I've heard from other online reviews with regards to the game. And it may not be up to the standards of say Zombie Army 4 is, but it's right around that ballpark. I know for a fact that it's better than Zombie Army 1 and and probably around the same factor as Zombie Army 2, but may not be better than Zombie Army 4. Um, in fact, I know for the fact it's not better than Zombie Army 4, but I do know that it's I would say considered better than Zombie Army 1 and Zombie Army 2 in when it comes to fun factor and cooperation. Now, this was early in the stages of Rebellions. Um, I guess you could say they're not really things in Zombie Army 4 that's very unique, and you wouldn't know unless someone tells you. And I believe the same applies to this game as well. So, without further ado, I'm going to get into this. I'm going to speak on what this is, mainly for my own records and my own archive and everything, so I could go back and see if things have progressed. Maybe they're going to bring out a Strange Brigade 2 in the near future. Who knows? But based on what I know from this game and from this company, um, some of the things they do within their games AAA, but most of them I would say is AA. So they don't have that budget to do the things that they want to do at a AAA level, like EA and those screwed up piece of garbage companies that love to bleed you off money. But at least they have the type of money that they need to get the job done when it comes to certain things. Now, if my internet goes out with regards to this, I'm just gonna start the video all over again. But I'm not gonna delete this one. This will be a part of the video. I'm not worried about the bandwidth. I'm not worried about things um, running smoothly this time. I'm not going to start anything over. They're just going to be continuations, part one, part two, part three. I did that for Neverwinter. I'm going to do that for this one too. And I have no patience to try to see if I'm going to get higher bandwidth and faster upload speed. I'm not going to do that for this one. This one is just going to be a straightforward, keep going, keep going. If it goes out, it goes out. Just turn it right back on. So from the first beginning of Strange Brigade, I heard good things about it from the company and those who used to play it from a while back. We're going to check it out right now. I mainly got into it because of Zombie Army 4. I heard that this game is pretty good, pretty decent. I would say this falls into a five to six category game standard, but I don't know for 100%. I have to see that for myself, and I gotta evaluate it from the 0 all the way to the 10 factor. Now, I'll see where that goes from here. So to start off with, intro logo for the game makes you show this open scene. Well, there's a preloaded before that, and then there's this one, the loading screen right here, that shows play, quick match, and it's very reminiscent of the type of environment you're going to be playing in. You're going to be playing in bright environments, whereas the Zombie Army Trilogy are in very dark environments, mixed with black, red, and gray and white. So those are the main colors for like the Zombie Army series: black, red, gray, and white. Those are mainly the colors for the Zombie Army series, and mixture of blue, green, and so on and so forth. But for those are the primary colors for those type of games because it's associated with World War II era and Hitler and the Nazis, who colors are primarily those colors anyway. So with this game, Strange Brigade is set in a time during, I would say, the early 20th century, maybe 1910, maybe 1920, maybe even before then, maybe in the 19th century, maybe the 18th century. I believe it's the 18 something, the late 1800s. Not too sure, but this was the time when a lot of archaeology and a lot of discovery was happening in American history as well as around the world. And I believe the main thing was to follow the type of Indiana Jones type adventure rather than enclosed Nazis. It's like it revolves around the same premise. So it's if you take Indiana Jones, take the Nazis away from Indiana Jones, it's not really Indiana Jones. But if you don't put the Nazis in, it's still Indiana Jones. It's just with a different type of enemy. So this is the Indiana Jones version of that, but without the Nazis. You could basically say this is like Kali Ma from the second Indiana Jones movie, um, praying to Kali and the Thuggees. So this is what this is like. This is like Indiana Jones fighting the Thuggee Empire, but it's not just one guy. You're a corporation of four different people, and it's not like really like archaeology, and you're doing discoveries. It's more like a bombardier group that's supposed to support the main guy, like to support the Indiana Jones type of guy, but without the Indiana Jones. So it's like running, gunning, shooting game. Um, that type of lore associated with that type of discovery, where it's more like solving puzzles and exploration and staying out of traps and avoiding traps. So it has that Indiana Jones feel to it. So the beginning introduction of the game, the main screen that you see right here, that I see right here. The text that was used for this is good, decent. It's very nice. It's gritty. It's stylized. It's does it fit between the lore of how ancient I wouldn't say ancient, but well, maybe ancient to people of today's standard, but how things were in the early 20th century, how things were in the 19th century, when primary texts that were used back then. I would say from the text point of view, this wouldn't be the actual text to use to represent that type of error. But at the same time, I understand if you want to have something to stand out, to be bold and to be centered and to be attractive towards the human eye, you have to take it from the point of view of a child touching a toy. A child does not see the details. A child sees the primary bright and standout colors, and they're attracted to it and interest of that object itself based on the colors. That's what a child sees, and everything else gradually becomes a discovery as the child is playing with the toy, so on and so forth. And so, from that innate thing within our human character, within our human psyche, within our human brain, that still remains there to this day. Our eyes are more appealing and go towards things that are more attractive to them when it comes to bright in color. Because our primary colors within our eyes that we recognize more than anything are those that are more bright than those that are dark. Because we're light creatures, we're morning creatures, we're not creatures of the night, we're not night owls and stuff. So standard colors used, primary colors: red, blue, yellow, or depending on if you're doing painting, it's red, blue, and green. Or is it red, blue, and yeah, that's red, blue, green. No, no. Red, blue, yellow. Red, blue, yellow. Red, blue. I don't remember. I don't 100% remember. Um, Red, blue, yellow. I don't remember, and I'm not gonna bust my brains out to try to remember. There's a different, like, when it comes to primary color, primary colors of a computer to primary colors of a painting. They're different colors. Red and the blue are still the standard, but the third color is it's not yellow, I believe. It's a different color, but it's something around those same things, those same things. And then you have your secondaries, the greens, and then you have the 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 greens, um, the greens, the orange, and the violets. Red, green, blue. Yeah, the greens, the orange, the violets, and then you have your tertiary colors, which are falls within the purples and um, the orange. No, not the orange. The purples, the violets, and it's hard to remember these colors, especially since it's been a while since I've actually got into this stuff. The point is that uh, primary, secondary, and tertiary colors are all associated back and forth towards one another. You mix them together, you get a secondary. You mix the secondary with the primary, you get a tertiary. That's how that works, and then so on and so forth. Then you get the the quad mouse, and then you get the sextagonal mouse, and then you get the eight mouse, and then it goes on, it goes on, it goes on, and then you have the neutral colors, which are considered the black and the whites, which are the combination of neutral the neutral barrier colors, which are the black and the whites. So from this game, the perspective of the colors to attract the human eye are the red, the blues, and the yellows. And uh, since the red, the blues, and the yellows are two distinct and powerful colors, it's very attractive to use the not so powerful colors to give a sense that I want to be interested in this world. I want to be interested in this life of this world, and I want to see it from a bright perspective, but I want to be blinded by the colors that are associated with this world. And it's not for children, so what are the colors not directly associated with children, but still fall into a similar category that's close to that um, avenue? Those would be the secondary and tertiary colors, and that's what's presented here: the secondary and tertiary colors. You see some of the violet mixed with the blue in the back to create a fog structure, and then a little bit of viridian that can be seen if you if you hover the green with the blues, and you see some of it, and you see some browns as well, which are or falls into the category that's needed for the leafy areas of the actual structure itself. So to eliminate all that and to get straight into the game, not to focus on anything too much for too long, the introduction of the game looks beautiful. The colors looks good. The movements of the trees looks good. Now, if you really, really, really take a picture of an actual forest at a bright light, with very bright lights, at this angle, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference that the colors of the actual trees and everything you're seeing in the distance right here on the left side is no different from things that you see in reality. The only major difference is that the color from something from a computer's eye to something from a human's eye are drastically different from each other. So our eyes are more complex and see things in color far more vividly. So, well, when you're looking at something from a computer screen onto like this Strange Brigade logo and looking at trees in the background, the water and everything, you could distinctly say that there's something off, that is not that realistic because the human eye can distinguish reality far more superior than the computer's eye. It just latches on to things that feels more attached towards reality in the scope of details that it represents, and that's due to millions and billions. Well, I don't know about billions, but millions of years of evolution of the human genome. and that passes down from generation to generation, from decades to decades, um, and after decades, hundreds of years, centuries to centuries, and then eons to eons, and from eons to eons goes on to hundreds of thousands of years to millions of years, and now we're here. And no matter how advanced a computer is, it will not be able to see the details the human eye will see when it comes to colors and organization of colors and organization of things represented by reality rather than things in fiction. So when it comes to the introduction of this game, it's beautifully done, it's well scripted, it's it's well organized. The artwork of the design of the pharaoh's head and the wings are nicely done, nicely drawn, nicely set. So everything that's drawn here, and I'm assuming this was drawn by hand or by hand and then converted into something from a technical, from a digital point of view, and mapped onto it, and then pasted on top of the actual movement of the background, the CGI background. And this is a static over what was showing in the background, kind of like a flash design that you do by hand, and then you upload it into Flash, and then you put it at your as your foreground rollovers, as you see here, and then you move forward into the game. So the intro of this game is done very well, and everything from the water to the trees. For a game that came out years and years and before Zombie Army 4, I would say it's very good. So I'm at a full 1 for the color of the game. Not so, I won't give it a full 1 yet, because a full 1 represents that the game is 100% beautiful all the way around, rather than taking things step at a time. 1.1, I mean, not 1.1, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, 0.6, 0.7, 0.8, 0.9, and then you get to a full point, to a full 1. So for right now, I would say a 0.1 for the tree colors, the movement of the trees. That's 0.2 for effects of movement of the trees to give that effect. Um, the actual ground itself, how the wood color looks on the tree stumps, how the grass looks, how the boulders look in the background, where the waterfall is coming, or where the water is coming from the river, how the fog looks within the tree areas, in connection towards the landscape curved around the waterfall, um, and then how the distant background with relations to the sky and the clouds, and how they come down and center down on the plane platform, towards the sky, the plane platform, and to object in the background, and how those all relate towards the actually text, the design, and the rollovers of the game itself. Those are well done. And the perspective of the game is well done too. If you actually look at this perspective of the game, from something going from the foreground going to the distant background, it looks pretty good. Like they really blurred out the back to show a form of perspective and make things in the foreground looks more dynamic. Also a form of perspective. So that's good. So I will give it a full 1, but I'm not gonna fully give it a full 1 until I see the whole game itself. So I'm gonna start this game from the beginning, and I'm gonna see if I could do a match with other people. So I'm gonna press play. I'm gonna press campaign, and I'm going to choose. I'm not going to choose one-person multiplayer. I'm going to press everyone to join group for everyone. And I'm not sure if I could start this game over from the beginning, because I started just to investigate how it was, but I didn't push forward too much because I knew I wanted to play. I knew I wanted to record it and then play the game. So I don't think the game would allow me to start it from the beginning just to evaluate the game this time. So this was my first time playing the whole game rather than just going to a certain section of the game, just to see how things function before I actually upload and start playing the game. So past the intro screen, you get your first character. And then you have the options. You see square at the top to show you the site that you have to go to. Then you have antiquities to show that different things that you could collect, or the different designs of the world and artifacts of the world and different things that you're going to eventually get. So I was managed to get at least one thing added with regards to the game as I originally started. And then you have letters and got at least 4 letters. But I haven't dug deeper into the game, so I wouldn't know. Um, but this is decent, and it makes sense if you actually look at it from this point of view. Because usually back in the days, there weren't no computers, there were no iPhones, no iPads, no cell phones, no pagers, none of that stuff from back in the days. No big heavy cell phones or no big recording computers. You had to do everything within log entries and log entries of data files that were set and placed within diaries. And this is a diary of antiquities. You consider this a journal of antiquities. So there are many journals throughout ancient history, but they are all set towards different things, like journals of antiquities, journals of historic facts, journals of personal hygiene, journals of divisions within military ranks. Things were done from journal point of view, that a scribe usually do, or someone who was within the group that was supposed to record events. Usually it's the architect, I mean not the architect, but the archaeologist himself, or the archaeologist, a support individual or support person that was within the group. But most of the time, it was either the archaeologist or the scribe of the group that did it. So I like the idea that it has a book that shows antiquities, that shows a log journal. I like the fact that it gives you map locations of where you need to move within this world. And this is the huge map of the world. These are all the different locations that you need to unlock and go to. And it gives you the options to select what you want. Play the campaign and play horde mode from either the opening menu screen, or as you load into this opening screen where you see the character, you can still switch back and forth. And I like that. It's very simple. It's not too complicated. It's very easy. But like I said, and again, this is a game that was, I would believe, was more than 10 years old. Now, I haven't checked that. I can't confirm that, but this came out before Zombie Army 4, and Zombie Army 4 was out for years. So, from a game that came out way back then and had this amount of text and details, something for a game that wasn't even AAA, considered AAA, this is well rounded. I mean, I believe I played a certain section of the first level, and I didn't run into any glitch, I didn't see any bugs, even when I was playing by myself. I believe if you don't have friends to play this game with, it might become a problem. But if you don't mind soloing a game, regardless if those people have the game or not, um, it's perfectly fine. This game, as of right now, is within the PlayStation Store in the deluxe package, and it's going for I believe at least $10, actually under $10. And this is the deluxe package. Now, it's best to get this when it's